name's Andrea, and this is the Winter of Discontent 2023. And we had a terrible ice storm that we all knew was coming, and we prepared as well as we could. I salted the driveway and got all ready, made sure I had, enough food in the house. And then the lights were flickering and I went to bed, and when I woke up there was no power, and it was chilly. It was chilly and dark in my house. And I was like, well, this is to be expected. I live in an old neighborhood in Ypsilanti with a lot of really huge old trees, and it was beautiful. The trees were gorgeous. Everything was lined in ice. There were a lot of limbs down. It was heavy, on those old trees. And then we went into the next day, and then we got like an estimate of like maybe a couple of days later, and then later, and it was 8 days of cold, getting progressively colder because my house, which is very well insulated, eventually had no no more heat in it, and I was freezing. I really was freezing, and I bundled up at night with three blankets and a sheepskin rug that I picked up off the floor and put on the bed to keep me and my two cats warm. And you're spending a lot of money because you're buying coffee out every day, and you're eating breakfast out, and you're eating dinner out, and you're basically bleeding money, and you're frustrated because you can't have your normal life, things you would do. You can't watch the news on TV. You can't cuddle up with your glass of wine after dinner. But beyond that, there's also this like constant uh, feeling of anxiety because, for example, almost every night, like my friends would say, Andrea, why don't you just go get a hotel? Why don't you come over and stay with me? Why don't you? But you know what? Every alarm in my house eventually ran out of batteries. So first my smoke detector alarm went off. Then the carbon monoxide detector went off. These were not, at a nice time like 2 p.m. or something. No, they were at 2 a.m. So you're like getting out of your warm cocoon bed, and you're putting on your giant, robe, and you're huddling down to the basement with a flashlight, and you're trying to find the stupid button to turn off the alarm. And then you're like, and you go back up to bed and you try to fall asleep, but you're really, there's an anxiety. It's just a nonstop sense of being anxious and not having your life in order. So that was 8 days of a blackout where, and eventually I was very comfortable, just like, okay, well, we're freezing and we're going to go under bed under this many covers and rugs and shit to stay warm. And now it's happened again. So and now it's day two, and anyway, it's just really, really frustrating, and I just feel like DTE could definitely do a better job. And they're raising rates, and they really aren't reinvesting in the structure so that we don't constantly have this problem. I mean, Ypsilanti's not new. We've had these giant trees for a long, long time. They knew it, and they come around with they hire people to cut down some of the limbs, but they really don't do a very solid job. I mean, I can go down the street right now on Michigan Avenue, and I see broken limbs leaning against the power lines. And I mean, they could easily see that too and maybe do something about it, but no, it'll be a problem the next storm. So I just very frustrated at this point with how things are handled by DTE, and us as residents, and us having to pay every month, almost $200 a month for service, and then when you really need it, you don't get it. So, and I would like to see some some improvements in that.